Hello everyone, I am the F1 team and welcome to my review of the 2019 Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona. Now without further ado, let's get straight in to my qualifying report. Mercedes were looking the strongest team in qualifying and they were to definitely take a front row lockout. That was never really in doubt, but what was in doubt was who was going to be the man. Was it going to be Bottas or Hamilton who was going to take pole position? But in the end it was Valtteri Bottas with a stunning pole lap. He actually beat Lewis Hamilton by 0.6 of a second. I believe Lewis Hamilton had some battery charging issues, but in the end it was Valtteri Bottas who took pole position from Hamilton, with Vettel in third, Max Verstappen in his Red Bull in fourth, and Charles Leclerc. Now, once the race actually did get underway, it was a really good start from Lewis Hamilton. He beat his teammate Valtteri Bottas straight off the line and he was into the lead, it seemed, but Sebastian Vettel was actually coming around that outside, so it was actually 3 wide going to turn 1. Incredibly, there wasn't actually an accident, which was actually a big surprise to me, because it looked like there was going to be some sort of crash, but it didn't happen. They all got through unscathed. Sebastian Vettel actually fell down to 4th. He was overtaken by Verstappen, who made a double pass on the 2 Ferraris after being passed by Leclerc to turn 1 himself. So at the end of lap 1 it was Hamilton from Bottas, from Verstappen, Vettel and Leclerc. Now Sebastian Vettel had locked up at turn 1 when he was trying to come around the outside of the 2 Mercedes cars, and that made him a lot slower than Charles Leclerc. Ferrari actually should have swapped them around, I think, a lot earlier, around lap 8, but they did eventually swap them around at lap 12, and Leclerc was finally allowed to pass Sebastian Vettel, and he was allowed to go and chase after Max Verstappen in third, who really got away by this point. Now, by lap 20, Vettel's tyres were really eroding, especially that tyre that he'd flat spotted, and Ferrari should have pitted him earlier. Similar to the team orders, they should have done it earlier again. They were too late to the decision. So it's really a couple of errors that really shouldn't have happened from Ferrari. And even after this, by lap 36, after both cars had slow stops due to a faulty rear left wheel gun, they put hards onto Charles Leclerc's car in an attempt to get him to the end of the race, and as we'll find out later, that didn't really work for them at the safety car period. But they actually swapped them around when it was the other way around. It was Leclerc who was a lot slower than Vettel, with Vettel behind. That took them too long as well. So I really don't know what Ferrari are doing the first few races of this season, the last few races of last season. It's really it's not going well for Ferrari at the moment. They're making some strange strategical decisions. Their car wasn't as good as it looked in testing at this circuit, at the Circuit de Catalunya. That their car was looking so good in testing, yet now it's not as good. And so Ferrari really need to sort themselves out if they want any chance of winning this title now, because now with 5 races in, with 5 Mercedes 1-2s, and it's looking really difficult for Ferrari to come back, even when we're only 5 races in out of around 20. So by lap 36, Vettel had got back past Leclerc again, but it was all to be fruitless very soon. On lap 46 came an accident between Lando Norris and Lance Stroll. Both were out of the race, and in my opinion it was a racing incident. The safety car was called out, and this, as it should, bunched up the field really nicely. It took too long, in my opinion, for the FIA to get the lap cars out of the way, because the safety car was out for 5 laps, really, when it should have been less than that. But the lap cars finally were allowed to move on around lap 50. The safety car returned to the pits on lap 51, and the field, the top 5, I should say, remain unchanged, despite Charles Leclerc having a bit of a scare from Pierre Gasly going for his first top 5, I do believe, of this year. And then Gasly was nearly passed himself by Kevin Magnussen. It was really exciting duel in the first few corners of the track between those two. In the end, it was Gasly who came out on top. So as I said, the top 5 was unchanged, and it remained like that for the rest of the race. So winning the race was Lewis Hamilton with a fantastic drive. In second place, Valtteri Bottas, unlucky for him. After his pole position, Hamilton was just too good today. Max Verstappen coming third, I thought it was a really good drive, as I'll demonstrate in a minute. In fourth was Sebastian Vettel, with Charles Leclerc coming home in 5th after all those team orders and late pit stop debacles. Ferrari really need to have an inquest at Maranello if they really want to have a chance at the title. This week's F1 team driver of the day is Max Verstappen. I think that he did really well staying ahead of the two Ferrari cars. I think that he just put in a really fantastic drive today. He's been performing really well quietly under the radar in the first 5 races of this season. A very big contrast to last year when he was in the headlines, he was crashing everywhere. But this year he's been doing absolutely fantastically in that Red Bull. I think he's still in 3rd place in the championship, which is fantastic considering where the Ferrari should be and where he's keeping them to a point. But also you've got to take into account Ferrari's struggles themselves. Thank you very much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, then please do like the video, share the video, and you can also subscribe to the F1 team where you'll find loads and loads of great Formula 1 content. You can also follow me on Instagram, that's at the F1 team. We're over 100 followers now. Let's go get to 150 soon. I think that's all from me. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.